we're talking, bringing back to the musical interest, there weren't a lot of bands, big bands wanting to stop in Starkville. Like, it's just not, really didn't show up on festival list or any major touring going on. So I felt the need to be an advocate of different music than you might hear. Because at that point in time, this is 2004 to 2008, not every coffee shop, Target, no one has like a curated playlist of like what they're presenting in this space and time. So the places there were definitely not playing things I wanted to listen to. It's like, what if I DJ'd? What if I threw parties and played music that I wanted other people to appreciate? I'm also at that same time exchanging burn CDs with faculty of like, have you heard of this band? Have you heard of this band? And then they're sitting like, well, you need to know about this band from the 80s that's influencing the thing that you're listening to now. And that whole back and forth also can kind of contribute of like, I want to share this with everybody.
Yeah.
So then how do you create an environment that is like party, but also safe and feels good and comfortable and inclusive? And so I was playing a lot of indie music plus dance music and kind of going back and forth. And it was very psychedelic without drugs. I was hydrated with water. You would think it was more of like a Brooklyn warehouse drug-induced experience, but it wasn't. It was just this like goofy, full of confidence, kind of Pee Wee Herman, Richard Simmons DJ character in costume with even more colorful work than this behind. Which started out as house parties and then met someone that was in music production. And he was like, I've got sound system, I've got lighting, we're going to do projections, we got smoke machines, lasers. Yeah. It became like a massive production, which then turned into like other DJs coming in, like making sets. And it was such a fun, exciting time for me. Yeah. And then I developed a persona to then channel all this creative energy into. So I'm making merch and stage deco and...
What was that? What was your...
The name is The Hooded Deer.
Okay. And the
a
inspiration
lot of indie bands had animal names at that time.
Uh-huh.
So it was like in that realm. I was very much into Animal Collective and Grizzly Bear. And so then like anytime one of those indie bands would put out a remix, it's like, that's the version I can play in this setting. I mean, again, no musical talent at all. There's no beat matching. I'm meticulously making a playlist. Yeah. And kind of got to where it, like, occasionally a transition would be like, that was really interesting. I don't know if it technically works, but it was like, people enjoyed it.
Right.
It was a low bar. Yeah. Again, it's like there's not a scene that's like competing with one another there. So it's like, I'm just providing something that everyone wants. And taking the lead on that. Sometimes in costume. Yeah.
I love that part of your story. Just with no background in that, like, I'm this basketball player, I'm gonna go do this in Mississippi.
It's like I shouldn't be doing this, but I really want to. Yes. So the intentions behind that are just pure, which is, if you're enthusiastic enough with good intentions, and at that age, like, there's no risk here. Like, why not do this?
Yeah. Well, and you're the one, like, who pinned it when we were, like, first talking, that this theme of connection with people, like, it's not quite as random as it seems like on the surface. That, right. You know, as you go back to basketball young, you think about this, and then even now your art, but, like, that there is that theme of connecting people to one another. And you're like, I'm just going to do this, figure it out, see what happens.
If I'm having a good time, surely someone else will. That's kind of the default. Yes.